I'm sorry, but God is not good. The universe is not good. The Most High is not good. Whatever name or label that you want to put on it is not good. And I'll explain why in just a moment and how this benefits you once you understand this new level of consciousness. So there are 4 vibrational frequencies on the map of consciousness called enlightenment, peace, joy, and love. And I put them on screen right now. And below you're going to see a red line. This red line is to show and demonstrate that these are spiritual frequencies, spiritual vibrations, spiritual states. And these particular states are not good or bad, they just is. So we, as people who function on polarity and duality, we would label those emotions as something good. Enlightenment, peace, joy, and love, these sound like positive emotions, but they are not positive emotions. They just is. They just are. There's no good and bad. The yin and yang have collapsed with these particular frequencies. Love and above is the God frequency. So if you look at my channel and you look at the label or the banner on my channel, it says the God frequency. And the reason why I want to remind people of the God frequency is because that is the truth. Everything below the red line on the map of consciousness under the spiritual paradigm, like acceptance, willingness, desire, anger, like all of these vibrational states are now operating back on duality and polarity. And so what we do is we want to pray to God. We want to intend our reality. We want things to be good in our lives. We want to transform our lives because we want it to be good. But what if I told you by wanting it to be good, you are attaching yourself to a pendulum and you're stepping back into duality and polarity. You're stepping back into the matrix and you're now allowing the matrix to control you. If you really think about it, what is good to someone is different to someone else, right? What is positive to someone is different to someone else. It's all relative. So that means we're operating on duality and polarity. However, when it comes to enlightenment, peace, joy, and love, they just is. They are neutral. They are nature. They are God. They are above the mind, above the ego, above duality. And so we can look at nature and you see how nature or animals do some crazy thing. They eat each other, right? And we can look at that as something bad and like, oh no, this is happening to the animal and it's getting eaten by the crocodile. But the crocodile needs to eat too, right? We're not going to make the crocodile vegan, right? And so we have to understand that these things that make us feel bad is actually conditioning. Right? We've been conditioned to think that's something bad. And the reality is nature's just doing its thing. And animals, I think, are more intelligent than us. And what I mean by that is they're more tapped into God or the universe or the isness. And we have become disconnected from the truth. We're living so much in the pseudo knowledge, which is the 3D matrix knowledge, and not enough in nature's knowledge, not enough in God knowledge. And once you tap into God knowledge, God information, and you start living and operating from love and above, you'll be able to manifest your reality much easier because you're no longer operating on duality and polarity. You will have more peace inside of your heart, inside of your soul, because you're no longer operating on duality and polarity. And that's the difficulty. It's not that we're becoming numb to our reality. It's just that we're realizing that everything is just functioning the way that it should be. It's us that's functioning on duality and polarity, trying to control things, that is causing a lot of problems and labeling things good and bad, which is creating the suffering that we have inside of ourselves and causing a lot of disruption inside of our world. And again, I'm well aware that might be difficult for the ego to hear, to experience, to feel, to know. And this might be hard to hear that God is not good. God is just is, because we're seeing the bad things happen in the world. But guess what? God doesn't intervene. Right? There are certain laws to this particular reality, and God cannot intervene necessarily. So it might be hard to hear that God is not good in our reality. Bad things happen in the world. Where is God in those particular situations? Why is God allowing war? Why is God allowing human trafficking? Why is God allowing rapists? Why is these things allowed to happen in the world? Why isn't God intervening? So what we've got to realize that God is not good, and it just is. Now, in our reality, we have laws of karma, right? And karma is a way of people experiencing the repercussions to their actions. But we also have people that are megalomaniacs, narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, who actually get away with a lot because they don't feel bad about what they're doing. right? They're operating on isness, whether we like it or not. Then they have no guilt or shame about what they are doing. And so they're not functioning on karma. And they oftentimes don't experience the karma and the negative energy that they're putting out into people and the world. In fact, you might see in the world that the narcissists are winning more than the people who are empathic and sensitive to our reality. Whether that be CEOs, owners of companies, and presidents and stuff like this, we see that these people oftentimes are the ones that get to the top. Whether you see them as actresses and superstars, and I'm not saying all of them, but we can see that narcissism operates quite a lot, especially in places like Hollywood. God's role is more to let things naturally unfold based on the laws of this reality. Goodness almost implies favoritism. That if I'm good, if I'm positive, if I think positive thoughts, if I am a good person to other people, there's a sense of like favoritism in there. And this contradicts everything because there are good people in the world, but bad things happen to them. However, if all of us, the whole entire world, was operating on love and above, just isness, there will be way more balance because we're not dealing with pendulums anymore. We're not dealing with duality. We're operating from frequencies that are of God, of isness, and there's a balance that goes along with that. Look at Mother Nature and all that it does for us to keep us alive. I was watching a documentary, I believe Will Smith was the narrator of this documentary, and it was showing how much it takes for Mother Nature just to make oxygen. And I was completely mind blown. And most of us, we don't know, we don't realize all that Mother Nature is doing just to create oxygen for us to breathe. It's insane. And for the animals and the birds and the bees and stuff like this. But you get my point. So I'm saying all of that to say this, that stop manifesting, stop wanting life to be better, stop wanting things to be good, stop chasing a life that is beyond your current reality, and completely accept your current reality right now as just is. Dismantle the belief system that things will be better, things will be good. By doing that, and stepping into the arena of hope and trying to change things in this energy just puts you in attachment and in a pendulum. Instead, surrender to your current reality. Don't think that God is good and God just is. Once you step into that frequency, God can now flow through you and you will experience your manifestations anyway. The key is to ask yourself simple questions like, how can I live in my highest timeline now? What is the highest vibrational thing that I can do right now? How can I live more in joy? When you do this more and more, and you follow that, you are living more in love and above. You are living in joy. And as you live more in joy, again, which is not polarity here, it's not good or bad. The more you experience that, the more that you're in the God frequency, the more things will just manifest. You're not focused on manifesting anything. You're just living in the vibration of joy. And through that, everything that resonates with that frequency naturally comes into your reality. And again, that is not good. It just is. That is God. God just is. God is not trying to manifest or try to make something good or bad, right? It just is. The car that you want, the home that you want, the relationship that you want, the money that you want, the traveling the world that you want, just is, right? It's not a big deal. With God is just clicking a finger, right? It's just choosing. And by recognizing and operating the same as God, becoming God, experiencing God, witnessing everything in our reality as God, you will experience more God frequency without manifesting. Why do I have to even talk about this? Well, some people who do the positive thinking, try to raise their vibration, do experience results with manifestation. People who use the law of assumption by Neville Goddard, when they use these practices, they see results. In fact, Neville Goddard's teachings are much closer to what I'm teaching right now than anything else that I've ever seen online. Because he's operating on the frequency, you just assume it's done. And that's it. You don't have to try and, do all of this stuff. You just assume it's done. You don't have to try and manifest and create and visualize and all this stuff. You just assume it's done, which is how God operates. You're stepping back into the God frequency. But for some people, they're practicing the positive thinking, they're practicing being in a high vibrational frequency, they're practicing doing the meditations and the techniques and the frequencies and all of this stuff, and they're not experiencing the results that they want because they're still operating on duality and polarity. They're still operating on good and bad, that the life that I want is better than my current reality. God doesn't think your current life worse than your new reality. It just is. It's just two different frequencies. God's not seeing it as good and bad. Just is. So you need to see it the same. If you're saying your current reality is bad and a new reality is good, you are creating distance between where you are and where you want to be. Once you accept your current reality and you're operating from not trying to change your current reality, and you're living in your highest timeline and you're choosing the highest vibrational thing that you can do right now, the more that you choose that, the more that you live in that, the more that you experience the reality that you want indirectly without actually doing anything at all. But again, this is easier said than done, because you've got the external reality, stuff is happening, we've got bills to pay, problems, challenges, and all this stuff. It can be difficult to live from those frequencies when this stuff is coming at you. But that's the training. That's the past. That's your memory. That's the old frequencies. And we have to begin accepting that, not pushing it away, not resisting it, not saying it's bad, just seeing it as is. And as we do that more and more, and we see everything as God, and we live in that frequency, the God frequency, love and above, then we can shift our reality much quicker without actually shifting our reality. We're just living on God frequency, and God frequency is co-creating our reality with us, and then we're living in the beautiful space regardless. And again, we're dealing with our identities, we're dealing with our beliefs, we're dealing with our thoughts, we're dealing with our emotions that can hold us back and stuff like this, but also see that a part of the isness. Now, I do recommend shifting those things and reprogramming those things and letting go of the past and healing your trauma and all of these things. And that's what I teach in my Awaken program. The link's in the description. You can get a 7-day free trial. It will radically transform your life. Absolutely getting testimonials literally pretty much every day. Essentially, what I'm saying here is you want to transcend all of that, right? If you're living on love and above, you see your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions as just is. You're operating from unconditional love, so you're not judging your thoughts as good and bad and negative and this is wrong with me and that I need to fix this about me and I need to grow and I need to expand, I need to become the greatest version of myself. In that frequency, when you're operating from that transcendence, there is no greatest version of yourself. That does not exist. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It's all a part of the Maya. It's all a part of the illusion. It's all a part of the matrix. As soon as you say you want to become the greatest version of yourself, you are in duality. You're living in lower realms. Not that lower realms are bad, but you're living in duality. You're living in the world of polarity, and it requires you to be better and better and better and better. There is no better. You just is. And the more that you can be in just is and sort of be the puppet controller of this vessel avatar, and you operate from that pure awareness, enlightenment consciousness, Christ consciousness, isness, the more that you're able to operate from there, the more that you become free. You experience personal freedom, freedom from this reality and freedom from ourselves. And now we're back in source and we're allowing the energy to flow through us and guide us, right? And as we're guided by it more, magic happens. It will radically change your life. So if you would like to continue this journey with me, check the link in the description and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.